My brothers, why are we nice guys? Well, when we are born, we're born into the world as needy, vulnerable little babies, right? And little needy babies and children in general are pretty narcissistic by nature. And we believe that we are the cause of everything that happens to us, every bad thing that happens to us. It's our fault. It's just the way that we internalize it, unfortunately. So we have certain experiences that make us inaccurately internalize beliefs about ourselves and those experiences. So if our primary caregivers show up in immature, addicted, abusive, or unavailable ways, we internalize that as that there's something wrong with us because our primary caregivers that we're looking to for nurturing don't meet our needs in timely and judicious and responsive ways. And when we have these inaccurate internalized beliefs that start forming, they are stored in the amygdala, which is where our emotional memories are stored, and also where the fight, flight, and freeze response is governed and resides within us. So when we do internalize these negative things from how we're cared for in childhood, what we start to say to ourselves is that I'm not valuable and lovable. My needs are not important. I'm not safe. I'm not good enough. And the rest of the world must be like my family. It must be a similar experience out there. So therefore, we must be defective, right? Unlovable. And then we just start to develop a life roadmap that says, I must become what I think others want me to be. And I must hide anything about myself that might cause others to reject me. And typically, a nice guy has two tracks. I'm so good. I'm such a good guy, nice guy. He typically hides from life, and he hides his needs, and he does it well. And then there's a I'm so bad nice guy, and he's the one that sort of pushes back against how he was brought up or how his parents may have made him a surrogate parent because they had their own needs they were trying to fill. And so they're looking primarily to their kids to fill their needs or take care of them. And that causes developmental issues in the child. And so that I'm so bad, nice guy pushes back against that. And typically that is associated with many self-destructive behaviors like addiction, self-sabotage, etc. And then emotionally, some of the things that we experience in childhood that are very negative occur to us as a shock, that feeling of negativity. And we get an anxious response. And these feelings are stored in our amygdala, perhaps for decades, until we figure out how to release this anxiety. These shocks and these stressors that we experience store as anxiety and give us disproportionate anxious responses to things that we're experiencing in the here and now. And so to deal with those uncomfortable experiences, we try to manage that. We try to do things to ease that discomfort. We try and manage and prevent any future discomfort, perhaps by being avoidant, perhaps by keeping us small, perhaps by not speaking up, not speaking our truth. We learn to prevent uncomfortable experience and prevent them from happening again. And because of that, we learn to hide our needs. We learn to become needless and wantless, to try to stay invisible, to try to stay off the radar. And so here we are as nice guys, seeking approval, avoiding conflict, not having boundaries, hiding our needs and wants, using covert contracts, which I'll talk about in a second, repressing our sexuality, seeking validation and approval outside of ourselves, carrying around toxic shame about ourselves, avoiding our fears, avoiding discomfort, avoiding challenge, keeping ourselves small, trying to make others happy, going along to get along. Nice guys tend to cut themselves off from other men and other male relationships that could actually benefit them. And failing to live up to our full potential. Unfortunately, the three key aspects of being a nice guy is being in anxiety and letting anxiety rule our lives, feeling toxic shame about ourselves, that there's something wrong with us on some deep level. And because of that, we have to hide. We have to hide things about ourselves and hide our needs and not take full ownership of our needs and not go after our needs. So anxiety, shame, and let's say a strained relationship with our needs. These are the three key aspects of being a nice guy. And so I'd like you guys to evaluate everything I just said. And if you see yourself on that spectrum, perhaps it's time to create a new story. You know, we've been telling ourselves maybe most of our lives that we're not good enough, we're not worthy, our needs aren't important, we're too scared to meet our needs, we're too scared to develop ourselves to our full potential. And so we're hiding, and we're hiding things about ourselves that we think are unwelcomed by others. We don't want to be rejected. But I'm here to say it is time to evaluate that as adults in this world, as good men in this world who want to do better, who want to live with integrity, who want to live with kindness and empathy, who want to live authentically. Because the real journey of the nice guy is a journey toward authenticity. And having authenticity and integrity and getting our needs met make us more fully realized men and help us become the best version of ourselves. and allow us to live the most fulfilling lives possible. That's something we all deserve. That's something we should all be striving for, in my opinion. One other thing I will leave you with is the idea of covert contracts. See if you do these. And remember, they're not overt contracts. So for the most part, these are contracts we have with others that we only know about. The first one is, if I'm good, I will be liked and loved. If I'm good, whatever that means, whatever that means to us, thinking how others may define good. Second one is, if I meet the needs of others without them having to ask, they will meet my needs without me having to ask. Third, if I'm good and do everything right, I will lead a trouble-free life. Start to think about whether or not you do any of these things. I've done all of three of these contracts in my life, but it's folly. First of all, if we're good, that doesn't mean anybody is going to like and love us. It's a silly thought to have. We can't control what other people think and feel. Secondly, just because we're meeting the needs of others doesn't necessarily mean they're going to give back to us. It's our responsibility to surround ourselves with the kind of people and the kind of situations that are actually going to meet our needs. And third, we could definitely try to do everything right in the world, but that doesn't mean we're going to have a problem-free life. It's not even possible to have a problem-free life. Anything could happen at any moment. We could have an accident, we could have an illness take place. Problems, challenges, they are part of life and they are part of our growth. And leaning into the challenges and problems of life actually grow us as men and help us become better. So this is a call to action, really, for all of us to evaluate whether we are nice guys or not. And if you see yourself on this spectrum, to start living more fully, start mitigating this nice guy paradigm, this nice guy feeling, this nice guy way of being in the world. It's fundamentally dishonest and it's not serving you. We all have needs and we all have a right to, as long as we're not hurting any other human being, try to get our needs met so we can have the most fulfilling lives imaginable. All right, guys, I hope you found this helpful. Let's start creating new stories. Let's start living to our potential. You guys have a great day.